My friends, it's Annie back again with something fresh and insightful for you. You know, there's a feeling that keeps resonating within me, an understanding of transformation, a sentiment that whispers, once they overlooked you, but now you shine and all eyes are on you. It's not just about fame or success, but a profound realization. They knew who you were, but now they recognize who you've become. I can see your nodding heads, those knowing smiles. We've all been there, haven't we? Seasons of doubt and confusion, times when you see miracles happening all around, but wonder if God's grace can truly touch your life. I want you to pause for a moment. Think back to those times when you felt alone. Maybe you were single, nursing a broken heart, or grappling with past trauma. Your dreams of love, companionship, marriage felt distant, almost unreachable. I know how that feels. I was once in your shoes, stumbling through a maze of setbacks and heartbreaks. But here's the truth that I learned, and it's a truth that I want to share with all of you. God hears you. He sees the tears, feels the pain, and understands the longing in your soul. He's not just a distant observer, he's a loving Father, ready to answer your prayers. Remember those nights filled with earnest, tearful prayers, asking for something more, something fulfilling, something that could be the answer to your dreams. Keep believing, because sometimes God doesn't just answer, He over-delivers. You may find yourself wrapped in joy, overwhelmed by gratitude, crying tears of happiness, because you have been given more than you ever hoped for, more than you ever dared to pray. It's normal to feel a longing, a yearning for something more. That's why it's important to reflect on the hidden journey, the personal growth and preparation behind closed doors that leads us to our blessings. Your path may be different, but the principles remain the same. Faith, perseverance, and self-love can guide you to unimaginable heights and unexpected joys. It's not just about finding a partner, it's about finding yourself, aligning your spirit with God's purpose, understanding how you too can receive the blessings you seek. It's time, my friends. It's time to open the door to God's abundant love, to embrace His will for your life. It's time to release the wisdom, the understanding, the faith that I've discovered through my journey. And if you're still reading this, if you're still engaged, then I believe you're ready to wear that wisdom, to embrace a life of joy, fulfillment, and divine love. Your season of waiting is over. It's time to step into your destiny. God has prepared the way. All you need to do is take that first faithful step. Beloved, lend me your ears and let us dive into a matter that resonates deeply within our very souls. Picture, if you will, a scene that feels all too familiar. An unceasing battle, a tumultuous dance between defeat and victory. Have you ever stumbled, fallen, and felt the world itself conspire against you? Let me take you to Proverbs 24:16, where a truth is etched that resonates beyond time and space. For a righteous man may fall 7 times and rise again, but the wicked shall fall by calamity. Now imagine yourself on a battlefield, facing not an earthly opponent, but the very trials and tribulations that life throws your way. 7 times you're struck down, just as there were 7 days of creation, each one filled with a divine purpose. 7 times you're brought to your knees, and 7 times darkness surrounds you. The weight of despair presses upon your chest, and the enemy, whether it be doubt or fear, seeks to trample you into submission. Pondering this very scripture and the symbolism hidden within, we talked of the 7 trials and the significance of the number 7. To many, it is a number representing completion, as seen in the 7 days God used to create the world. Then there's the number 8, symbolizing new beginnings, just like the 8 people saved on Noah's Ark. In your struggle, may you find the strength to rise again, to complete your trials, and to embark on a new beginning, filled with hope and guided by faith. Consider the imagery, dear friend. You're on the ground, beaten and broken, wrestling with negativity and tormented by dark thoughts. Alone and overwhelmed, each challenge feels insurmountable, each heartbreak unhealable. Yet you rise, only to be knocked down again. Time and time again, this dance repeats, until the seventh fall. But then comes the eighth. The eighth time, something miraculous happens. You rise, not just as before, but transformed. You see, what you didn't realize during those trying moments was that each fall was not a failure, but a forging. God, in His infinite wisdom, was shaping you, not breaking you. He was building your character, flexing your spiritual muscles, preparing you for a strength you had yet to comprehend. On that eighth rise, you stand up with a different level of strength, power, and courage. You're no longer the same person who first stepped into the ring. You've endured, you've learned, and now you're equipped. The enemy, be it life itself, had been placing a weight upon you, a weight you thought unbearable, a burden that seemed too heavy to carry. But God had a plan. When you stand up the eighth time, it's with the realization of who you've become and who God has always called you to be. You're no longer in the training ground. The weight that once crushed you is now the very thing that makes you strong. So remember, dear child, when life seems relentless, when the enemy appears victorious, when you've fallen for the seventh time and hope seems lost, God is still at work. He's crafting you into something resilient, something extraordinary. Stand up for the eighth time. Stand up with a newfound strength. Stand up as who you are meant to be. For God has a purpose, and every trial, every stumble is but a step on the path to a glorious new beginning. You're standing in a tempest, feeling the weight of life itself. But do you see? It's not life pressing down on you now. No, it's something more profound. You're choosing to shoulder that burden, to wear the weight as if it were armor, not shackles. What's changed? You've found strength. Strength in God, strength in faith, strength in the very trials that once seemed to break you. My dear friend, I feel compelled to reach out to you in this season that seems so filled with challenges and despair. Have you found yourself knocked down time and again, wondering why you can't rise? Listen closely, for this is your confirmation, your assurance that all of this has a purpose. You're not lost. You're being molded. God is crafting you, building your resilience in those very places where you were once feeble and uncertain. Whenever He is preparing you, transforming you into the version He knows you can be, He leads you through a crucible, a training ground. It's there, in the fires of trials and hardship, that your weaknesses become strengths. Consider this. The moment God lifts you from the pit and seats you in the palace, the instant He draws you from darkness into light, into abundance, victory, and blessing, that's when you know. Victory time is upon you. It's here, it's now. It's this month and the rest of this year. You'll walk the path of David, celebrating triumph upon triumph. Wherever you go, favor will follow. Wherever you wander, God's hand will guide. You'll begin to discern the difference between mere goodness and God's absolute best. Hear me well. This revelation might not have been planned, but it's meant for someone out there. Perhaps it's meant for you. If you're feeling lost in a season of trials, overwhelmed and defeated, remember, God's wisdom explains it all. He's strengthening you. On that eighth time you rise, the weights that once pulled you down will feel like feathers. Now you'll embrace them, for you've discovered new depths of power and resilience. The things that once sought to destroy you are now the very things you wield. In a world full of trials and tribulations, where others seem blind to your struggle or even your very existence, God sees you. He's given me a message. They didn't know you then. Back when you were struggling, back when you faced loss and ridicule, they didn't know you. But God whispers, they know you now. Why? Because you embraced the process. Why? Because you were patient, waiting on God's perfect timing. Why? Because your light is about to shine like never before. God declares that this is your season, the season where all eyes will turn to you. The spotlight is ready. Can you feel it? Listen closely, dear friend. Here's the truth, the prophecy. In this season, right now, the spotlight will be on you. God is saying it, and I believe it. You're ready, and the world will soon know your name. The very weights that once sought to crush you will become your foundation, and upon them, you'll stand tall, a testament to faith, perseverance, and divine favor. Your victory time is here. Embrace it with all your heart, for God is with you every step of the way. They feigned ignorance about who you were, but in the depths of their hearts, they knew. They knew who you had become, guided by God's illuminating grace. The light that God bestowed upon you was impossible to ignore, for it emanated from you, reflecting a journey of profound transformation. See how God's hands molded you, taking you from obscurity to the limelight. You were pulled from the back row, placed in the front, and God's loving touch shone through you. And this wasn't merely a display of divine power, nor was it a sign to chastise those who doubted you. It was a lesson, a sermon of strength and resilience. God's ways are filled with love and redemption. He doesn't merely punish, He educates. The underdogs, those who have been downtrodden and disregarded, are His chosen ones to display a story of triumph over despair. Your story wasn't just about you, it was a testament to God's infinite mercy. It was meant to inspire faith in others, to show them that they were not shackled by their past mistakes, that God could lift them from the depths and crown them with glory, just as He did for you. Beloved, you must know that God's plan is never one-sided. It is a tapestry woven with grace and compassion. He desires a world where victories are shared, where the success of one becomes an inspiration for all. The triumphs you enjoy are not merely for you, they're a beacon of hope for those who once doubted you, those who betrayed you, even those who wished you ill. God seeks to redeem not just you but all souls, even those that seem lost. The vengeance is His to claim, but redemption is His to offer. Your story is an invitation to others to come and partake in the divine grace, an assurance that they too can be saved, just as you were saved. We are all flawed, sinners guided by grace. But your story is a living testament to God's love. May it rejuvenate your soul, reinforce your faith, and remind you that you're never alone. You're about to rise again, and this time it will be different. You will ascend with God's power, never to fall back down. Your rise will be sustained by God's eternal promise, not just for your lifetime, but for the generations that follow you. The hardships you've faced, the trials you've endured, were all part of a greater plan. Those struggles were not in vain. They were the chisel and hammer shaping you, breaking the chains of generational curses that had ensnared your family. You were chosen, and through perseverance, the chains have been shattered, the curse lifted. Your seasons of waiting have been long, drawn-out tests of faith, but in that process, you were achieving something greater. You were eradicating the toxic mindsets that had been haunting your family. You were the chosen vessel, and through God's guiding hand, you were making history. Beloved, may this word bless you, enrich you, and open your eyes to the magnificent path God has set for you. Like the video and type Amen if you trust in the Lord. Please support our ministry by clicking the thanks button, and please consider joining us as a cherished member. Your generosity uplifts our mission. God bless you.